What's up, everyone? It is your girl Gel Beauty 87 here, aka Grace, and today we are going to get into the finale of my Colourpop collection video. So this is part 3. I am showing you all of my my handmade Colourpop palettes. Not handmade, but you know, custom made palettes. I told you I'll show you those last because I feel like that'll be the most fun part of the video. So let's get to it. So we're gonna start off with Just My Look. If you all remember, I told you I made the Just My Look and I combined it with the Mented Be. So this is what it looks like on the inside now. Yours isn't gonna look like this if you go buy it. It's Just My Look now. I think it had a lot of deeper green shades in it. I think it had a green sequin shade in it. I wasn't really feeling it, but I didn't want all the ashy mint shades that came with it, so I figured a good combination would be these two. So here's what she looks like on the inside. I think it looks stunning. And of course, clearly I'll be biased because I made it. But the next one I have is the Making Mauves. Now I did take some of the shades out of another palette. I'm trying to remember what palette I took them out of though. I'm not sure which shades I took these colors out of, but to me this was more aesthetically pleasing to me. A lot of the shades to me were like a little more deeper ashy, but they were like light taupey-ish ashy that didn't work that well for my skin tone. So I feel like this color combination worked better for me, and it still was pinkyish mauve, like, you know, I preferred. So this is what it looks like now. I like it a whole lot. I have actually used this one. Some of them I haven't used. Like I haven't used the, I don't think I used the Just My Look one yet, but I have used this one. I'm trying to use as many of them as I can because, you know, I made them because they were custom in colors I would like. But since I always have to review stuff, y'all know there's a lot going on with that. So yes, I have the Lock It Down one. My friend bought me this one, and I think I bought the pink one so that way I could combine them and hit the colors for it. So I think I took the pinks from that palette and put it in the Making Mauves, and that's where those colors came from. But this is what it looks like now, because this was supposed to be the purple one, so I combined the purple and the pink one that I told you all about to create what's going on here. So that's the look that you have going on right here. I think it looks nice. I feel like it's still a little more purple heavy than I was hoping it would using the pinks, but it still has little pops of pink that I can use, and I feel like I can get a good combination of colors. I have not used this one yet though, so there's that. The next one I have is That's Taupe. I rearranged this one again. Obviously, I rearranged all of them. I don't know why I felt the need to say that, but I think I took some of the shades, if I remember correctly, from the, what is this palette called? They don't make it anymore. It wasn't the Double Entendre. It was the it was another one that they had in the same packaging as Double Entendre. I don't remember what the name of it was though right now, but I took the shades out of there and put it in this palette, and so that's what we got this look from. I have not used, wait, no, I'm lying. I have used this one since I redid the palette, and I think it looks stunning. So there's that. Next I have Little Ray of Sunshine. I remember Darius or Neon anyway talking about how he had to help Colourpop recreate this one because at first it looked way worse than it does now. I took the shades from that other palette that I talked about and took some of them out of those. So the yellow, basically the shimmers in this palette, and I think that's it. Yeah, I think the shimmers are the only thing I took from that older palette and put in here. So I have not used this one since I added shimmers to it, but I had to use it originally before I added the shimmers. So I have at least used the palette. I try not to have a whole bunch of palettes sitting around that I haven't used at all, because I'm like, what's the purpose? I may have like 1 or 2 stragglers here or there that I got for Christmas presents, and since I'm always making content, I don't have time to just necessarily use other things. But you know, like, I only have like 2 or 3 maybe. Next I have the Cloud Spun palette. I recreated this one. I think I just took the pressed glitter out of it. I'm not sure if I put anything else in here. This is really hard to open. Yeah, I took the pressed glitter out and replaced it with something else. I replaced the pressed glitter with a sequin shadow, oddly enough, because y'all, if you know anything about me, you know I don't like sequin shadows, but I had to put something in there that wasn't pressed glitter, so I worked with this. I feel like this would be a good palette to a palette combination or palette mashup to use with the Ooh La La palette, because this has a lot of lighter pastelier shades, and I feel like the darker shades in there would work nicely with the lighter shades in here. So I have used this, but I haven't used it since I added the sequin shadow to it. But you know, like, I wasn't gonna use the sequin shadow anyway, so it's not like it makes that much of a difference. It's just supposed to be more aesthetically pleasing. Next I have Of Quartz. This came out the beginning of this year, I believe. I wasn't really a huge fan of the formula of the shadows that was originally in here, so I changed it up. As you can see, I took one of the NBA palettes, because you can see a little basketball on this. I think I took the Brooklyn Nets palette and replaced some of the shades from it in here. And this is what it looks like now. I like the color story of this a little bit better. I haven't used it since though. I had it in the box for the disappointing palettes of 2022. Spoiler alert, because I was not really feeling the formula of this one along with the amethyst one. I didn't like either one of them. I just thought they were meh compared to some other things that Colourpop has. Next I have the, what is this, the Dallas Mavericks palette. I took the shades out, I took some of the shades out of here and put them in the, what is it, the Powerpuff Girls palette, because they had all those pressed glitters in it and I didn't want that. So spoiler alert, you'll see those in there later. But I did keep the majority of shades that were in here. I think I just took the silver out of another one of the basketball palettes or the NBA collection palettes and put them in here. So this is what it looks like. I think the color story is actually pretty nice. But if I remember correctly, I haven't used this one yet just because I wasn't, like, you know, sure if I 100% like the color story 100% to where I wanted to use it the way it was, if I just wanted to use it as, because sometimes I'll keep palettes and I'll just use them as holders for like single shadows, so that way when I need to make another palette up, I already have my single shadow palettes available. So next I have the Brooklyn Nets palette. And I redid this one as well. As you can see, the color story is different. So I took some of the colors, like I told you all, from the Of Quartz palette. I took some of the colors from there and I put it in here. So I somewhat like the color story of this one. I'm still not 100% sold because this is a black sequin shade. And I feel like there's still like too many shimmers in here and not enough mattes to go along and make it a more cohesive palette that I would like. So if I can find a giant black in this size, since they keep changing all the sizes of everything, then I'll, you know, go ahead and do that. But otherwise, this is just kind of like a straggler palette. So that's why I haven't used it yet. I mean, I think I used the brown, but I haven't used, I think they used the brown and the silver, but I think I used that originally when it was in the Of Quartz palette, because I pretty feel like those are the palette colors I took out of the Of Quartz palette. I'm not 100% though, so don't quote me. Next one I have is In the Limelight. You all saw this in one of the videos, but then I remembered that I had changed quite a few things in it, so I didn't want to show it in that video. So this is what she looks like now. Again, I wasn't 100% impressed with the formula on this one. As you can see, I changed it around a lot. What I did was I bought that One and Done palette they came out with the pinks and a lot of neutral shades, and I just took a lot of the pink shades out of there, or out of my what is that palette called, the Tinkerbell one I'm gonna show you next, and mix them around in this one to give it looks, because I wanted a little bit more of a pinky feel to it, because I like pink and green, and I just wanted to bring in a little more pink, because I feel like there was like one pink shade in here, maybe two, and they weren't exactly the tone I felt like would work best for my skin tone. So I just made it work for me. So this is what she looks like now. I have not used this one since I put it in there, but I used it originally the way it was for the initial video. But if you all remember, I did a whole video on palettes I buy and never use, and Colourpop was in there, and lots of Colourpop palettes were in there, because although I really like to review Colourpop, and it's not like I don't like Colourpop, it's just you gotta think I own a whole bunch of luxury shadows. So obviously I'm going to use the luxury shadows over the affordable ones, because you know they're gonna cost more, and I know they all will expire, but in the grand scheme of things, I'd rather have used the luxury as much as I can as opposed to the drugstore. Plus, since I'm more of a luxury high-end type channel, at least in my opinion, I prefer to use my luxury and high-end things. Anyway, next we have the Tinkerbell Sprinkle a Little Magic palette. And this is like one of my favorite creations of all the palettes I've recreated. Look how stunning that looks. I feel like it just looks gorgeous. I took this green from another palette. I don't remember what palette it was, but like I said, from the One and Done palette, I took these pinks, and I feel like they just look so much better for my skin tone. I'm pretty sure this pink was already in this palette, and I just moved it to a different place because I feel like it was higher up, and it got put down here. But I love the color story of this. I actually have not used this since I redid it either, or have I? You know what? I think I have used this one since I have redone it, just because, I mean, look at that. That was so stunning. I feel like, how could you not use it? Now, I do have one palette I recreated that I'm not going to show, but it was one of those I was telling you about where I'm like, I just kind of put it together, but it's holding like extra singles I have behind as a placeholder. It's not like a actual palette that I plan on using as a color story, so you won't see that one. It's the Let's Roll palette. It's the first collection they sent my girl Karen Harris in PR, and I'm still happy for her to this day, because I know she was really excited about that happening. She even said in the video, so I'm so glad Karen got that in PR. Random side note, but you won't see it in this video just because I just bought it to have placeholder singles. Matter of fact, I think the green from the Tinkerbell one, or from the In the Limelight palette, actually came from that palette. Don't quote me though. Next I have on the list, I didn't buy this when it originally came out. I bought mine on sale for like $7, and then I used the $3.50% off coupon when I bought some other stuff and got it at like, for basically like $5. I changed the color story around here too though. So I tried to make it more like a fun pop of warm tone and then like a more grungier cool tone. I have not used it since I made it because I'm not 100% I'm in love with the color story. I mean, I wasn't trying to match it to the outside obviously, but I thought it was gonna be fun to have these fun garnish type tones and then like these cooler unique type tones. So I'm feeling it. I'm trying to remember. I feel like this blue came from the Dallas Mavericks palette. Don't quote me though, but I'm somewhat liking the color story, so I'm just trying to debate on if I like it enough to try to use it as an eye look. Because I've used some of these shades from other palettes before I put them in this palette, but I haven't used this as a palette now that I have made it, and I definitely need to because it's just been sitting in my living room like waiting to be used. So I'm gonna get to it. I'm gonna try to get to it. Next I have the Plush Like Me. I took some of the other shades from the One and Done palette. Basically I just took the pinks from the One and Done palette and added them to this palette. The funny thing is this palette to me resembles a lot the Sonic Bloom, if you all remember from the, I believe Sonic Bloom is in the second episode. I feel like it looks really similar to the Sonic Bloom, so it's like I kind of recreated another Sonic Bloom because it has that weird unique shade that Sonic Bloom has. The Sonic Bloom has a lot of these deeper tones in it and then like these kind of neutrals, and it has a pop of color, and I think the pop of color was pink and then it had like a deeper tone like this. So I feel like I just made a giant version of it without realizing it because I have so many Colourpop palettes and they dupe themselves so much till I remember the color story similar to it or liked that color story so much that I made it in a bigger form. So I have used this palette though, and I liked the way the look turned out. I think it looked really nice. So I think I'll leave this one here in my grandmother's house though, because I have the Sonic Bloom at home, so I don't need both. Who is this? Okay, next I have the In the Springs. If you all remember, I compared this to the, what is that palette? The Glam Light and Frosted Flakes palette, because this was Colourpop's pop of blue palette with the oranges, and you know obviously the Frosted Flakes one is going to be blue and orange, and I want to see which formula was better. The Glam Light formula obviously won because that was when their formula kept getting better and better and better. It's still getting better and better and better, so it was better, but I decided I wanted to add some more pops of green to this instead of just being blue and orange, so I added some more. So let's see what I did. So here's what she looks like now. As you can see, I took out a lot of the neutrals because I feel like there were lots of neutrals in here. And I've actually done eye look with this. You all saw it in the video this year. I think I was wearing a bucket hat and I had did the eye look with this one. And I think the green was on the lower last time. I had put the orange on the top or something. If you know me, you know I'm not big on orange. But I still managed to make a decent look. And it actually looked nice to me. And I don't usually like stuff like that. But as you can see, I just did kind of like a warm tones on this side and more of like the tropical neutral vibes on the, not neutral but like blue and green vibes on this side, and I think it turned out pretty nice. So I actually think I'm going to take this one home because I was leaving it here, but I'm like, I feel like I might want to use it, but at the same time it's like I can always just pull out the Frosted Flakes and just use like a green on another palette. So I might leave it here, I might not. I'll probably just leave it here because it was already living here, so it should just be able to stay. Next I have my Sailor Moon palette. So I recreated this for sure because a lot of shades in here were just super ashy and were working on people my skin tone, but I remember loving to watch Sailor Moon when I was younger, so I was going to make sure that the Sailor Moon palette works for me. So what I did was I took the shades out of Aura and Out and In a Trance, or mainly just In a Trance, I feel like. Yeah, I took the shades from In a Trance out and just put them in this palette and made it into what this is. I like this palette. This is like probably my second or third favorite out of them. I was thinking about doing a top 5 palettes that I recreated from Colourpop and showing my favorites off, because this is definitely in there along with the sorry y'all, I usually have alarms set for 10 o'clock and 12 o'clock because sometimes releases coming out at 12 o'clock on the weekends and I need to be prepared. But anyway, so I like I definitely like this one. I like the In the Springs one I showed you all, and then I like the Tinkerbell, and it's one other one. It's one of the giant mega palettes you'll see in a few minutes that I absolutely love. It's one of my favorites. So I was thinking about doing a top 5 or top 10 of my favorite Colourpop palettes I've created, but you can comment down below and tell me if you'd be interested in seeing that or not, because I'm like, I definitely have favorites, and I will explain like more in depth about why I picked what I picked and all that as far as the colors I put in them. Now this is the Powerpuff Girls X Colourpop, or Colourpop X Powerpuff Girls. This is the one I told you all about. I took the I think I took the blue and the blue shades from the Dallas Mavericks palette and put it in here. So as you can see, this iridescent like blue shade right here, and then this blue shade right here I put in this palette because they had nothing but a whole bunch of neutrals across the top, and I was like, I'm not with it. So I made sure I changed out some of the shadows that I feel like it worked better for me. I mean, I understand them putting bubbles with the pressed glitter because I feel like if anybody's going to use a pressed glitter, it would definitely be bubbles. that just seems like the bubble vibes, but I didn't want that. I wanted more of a shimmery effect, so I got this duochrome white shifting blue shade, and I got this blue to purple shifting shade that I feel like would look much better in this palette. So this is another one I really like. I mean, it followed the design of the Powerpuff Girls for the most part, but Colourpop just always has to put some neutral somewhere, so it's like I'm not surprised there's a neutral in here. I'm just not excited for the neutral that's in here because I'm not feeling all the neutral going on. So we're almost done, y'all. I swear. I just love to recreate Colourpop palettes. Oh crap, I just dropped the tops to the eyeshadow primers that I use, so I'm gonna have to like look for those. Just great, just loving that for me because I don't want them to dry out. Next I have the Candy Castle. So this is supposed to be from Candyland. If y'all saw my video, then you saw how ashy this was, but I love the packaging of it, and I remember paying Candyland as a kid, so I had to have this palette. So I just decided to make a somewhat pastel-y version because I felt like since the packaging was pastel, pastels would be good. So I took some of the shades from the Garden Variety palette, and I'm trying to remember what other pastels came from. I'm not 100% sure. I want to say the rest of the pastels might have come from the Or and Out palette like I was talking about earlier, because Or and Out was like that greenish yellowish palette that they came out with, and then the blue and pink and purple one was the In a Trance that I used for the Sailor Moon one. But I'm liking the way this looks. I have not used this because it's still not 100% where I want it to be, but you know, like, it's good for what it is. Next I have the Misunderstood palette. I loved the packaging on this, so I just had to keep it. So I took out a lot of the shimmers, or I took out a few of the shimmers and tried to put in mattes. I feel like it would work better. Like I have this green one from Just My Luck. What else did I take out? I think I got this blue from the Mara palette. Or was it Soul? They had the Soul and Mara palette. I got it from the blue one. I feel like the blue one is Soul. No, I feel like the blue one is Mara, and like the cool tone one, I mean the warm tone one is Soul. So this color came from there. This came from Just My Luck. I'm trying to figure out where the rest of the colors came from. I think the rest of the colors were already in here, and I just added these two because I feel like I wanted some more mattes that I feel like would go a little bit better with the shimmers. I'm still trying to find a color to replace this with, because since I have this brown tone that works closer to my skin tone, I don't feel like I need this one as well. So I've not used it because I still haven't perfected it. A lot of times it's like I feel like I haven't perfected a palette 100% when I'm making it, and then I won't go ahead and use, you know, the palette because I'm like, I feel like it's not 100%. This one I don't think I've used either since I corrected it. This is Gather Round Sisters. This is the first Hocus Pocus palette that everybody was obsessed with and wanted to get their hands on, and then they sold out really quick, and then I asked to buy mine from Ulta because I actually missed getting it because it sold that quick. So I went to Ulta and bought it there. I think it was like a week or two after it came out. But this is what she looks like on the inside. I took this green from the Just My Luck palette as well. And then I got this pink shade. I'm trying to remember. I don't remember where this pink shade came from, but it was like a pressed glitter there and I wasn't feeling it. But I don't feel like this pink necessarily coincides with it either. But I couldn't find another shade at the time that I liked for it. So when I find a shade I feel like will work better for it, I'll switch it out. I kind of want to switch out this one too and put a matte there because I feel like it's like a whole row of shimmers and the rest of the rows have shimmers and mattes to be able to do a quick one done eye look is what I want to do. So this one isn't at 100% yet. But again, since I rarely use my Colourpop palettes anyway, I guess that's why I don't worry about it too much. I'm like, I can switch it out later. The last one I have before we get into the mega palettes, which would be bringing us to the end of our Colourpop collection journey, is Garden Variety. So Garden Variety is another one that I really liked the color story on. It definitely is giving what the outside packaging is giving, but just my take on it, as opposed to then I think if I remember correctly, it was like one row of neutrals, one row of purple, and then I forgot, I think it was one row of green or something like that. So I turned it into this right here. I'm really liking all the pasteliness of it all with like the purples and the mints. So I took the Meant to Be and the Lilac You a Lot palette because I got fresh ones because I ended up dropping them when I showed y'all my ranking all my Colourpop palettes or something like that video. I end up dropping Just My Luck, Meant to Be, and It's My Pleasure. So I got some of the shades scattered throughout there. Like these two shimmers, if I remember correctly, are from It's My Pleasure. And I know these shades are from Meant to Be and Just My Luck. And then the other shades I think were already in this palette if I remember correctly. Or this one might be from the Mara palette. I don't 100% remember, but this is what she looks like. I actually like the way this looks completely. I just haven't had a chance to use it yet. Again, I told y'all I'll be having like a million palettes and videos I have to do. so I don't always get to use all the stuff in my collection, even though I actually want to. It's just, you know, a lot going on all the time. So I think I have recreated just about every makeup palette I have, except for the Mad About Hue palette and the Getting Fresh palette. Those are the only two I haven't redone. So my friend bought me the It's All Good last year for Christmas. No, sorry, for my birthday. And this is what she looks like. As you can see, I popped in some more purples because I feel like it was just a giant version of the, what's that palette called, Sweet Talk. I felt like it was a giant version of Sweet Talk, and I wanted some more purples brought in, so I took some more purples from the It's My Pleasure and Lie Like You A Lot and stuck them in here. And I think I took a couple of shades from Sweet Talk too, because if I remember correctly, this Super Shock wasn't in here. This was from the Sweet Talk palette, and I think a couple of the Peach Fuchsia shades are from the Sweet Talk palette. So this is what she looks like now. I have used it since I recreated it, and I liked it a whole lot better because I had like more of what I wanted as variety to choose from. I wish I had a couple more purples, like as far as mattes go, but it was good enough to where I used it after I made it, and I liked it. Next, I have the Your Golden palette. To me, this, when I originally got it, it was just a giant version of the Kathleen Lights Dream Street palette, and I wasn't necessarily crazy about that. So I wanted to bring some more color and fun into it, so I took some shades and made it a more fun, colorful palette. And if you all remember, I had did a look with this and said this was why I wasn't going to get the Getting Fresh palette unless it went on sale, because I wasn't going to buy it at a regular price, because I had added all these fun colors that were similar to that palette, like this bright green and this bright green, and then these peachier orangish tones, and then I had this green shimmer right here. So I had some of those tones that are in that palette in here because I had put them in here, so I didn't feel the need to get that palette. However, when it went, I think they had a 30% off sale earlier in the year, or 20% off, so I went ahead and got it then because I got that percentage off, and then I think you got to use the influence code on top of it, or maybe you didn't, I don't remember, but it was way better price than it originally was, because aren't these like $35 or $39 or something like that, and I was like, I'd rather just wait till it's sale and get it then, because otherwise I wasn't gonna get it. But I really like this color story. I have used it since I changed it around. I was really happy with it. This is another one of my favorite makeup palettes I redid. But this is my all-time favorite makeup palette I redid. This is the It's a Mood palette. When you see the inside, you'll see why I think it's absolutely stunning. This one was a lot more grungier than I was expecting it to be, and once I got it, it gave me nothing but a whole bunch of grungy, super dark looks. And I wanted a little more brightness when it came to the shimmers and a little more transitioning matte shades. So I took the Ooh La La palette, the rest of It's My Pleasure, and Just My Luck, just shimmers and mattes from those palettes in order to create this. And I think I took this from the Mar palette as well. Don't quote me. It's been a while since I did it, so I'm not 100%. But I love the aesthetic of this palette. Like, I just like to look at it. I think it's so wonderful. It gives me my blues, my greens, my purples. It gives me a nice little row of pink to use, and then you have your neutrals for people who like neutrals, like your oranges and your browns. So I feel like they just get I did a really good job of making it where anybody could use it, and I really love this color story the best. It's absolutely stunning. So that's my favorite. I actually have to do a video with that coming up soon, so I actually had it sitting on the other side away from those palettes, but now that I've shown this part, now I can just go ahead and put it back where I had it. Now, last but certainly not least, we have the Play It Jewel palette. I redid this one just because I felt like there weren't enough shimmers to go with the mattes in here. So it's like I had a dark purple shimmer here, but it like fell and broke out. So I need to like replace it with another dark purple shimmer when I find one in my collection that I like. So I'm going to go ahead and do that eventually. But I have used it after the first time I redid it when the purple was still intact. And I definitely like the eye look I came up with. I just wanted more shimmers to go with the mattes that were in here, so that's why I added a few shimmers and a few mattes based upon my color preferences. But that completes my Colourpop collection. Honey, wasn't that long enough? So I hope you all enjoyed this video. Remember, you all are diamonds. You can comment down below and tell me which was your favorite palette that I recreated, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Be blessed, girl.